From the heart of the 713, it's fun, it's engaging, and it's uniquely Houston. H-Town's hottest new show, Chattin' with Chelsea. Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards.
Welcome to another Chattin' with Chelsea. So glad to have my besties here with me today. I am your host, Chelsea Edwards. All right, today is Relationship Wednesday. Yes, we are going to work on making our connections stronger, trying our best to stay together. I'm going to be diving into some trending arguments, and we're going to see if our relationship expert can settle these scores for us. So you may remember her from Married at First Sight. Dr. Viviana Coles is here today. Yes. All right, so we're going to cover a few things with her and maybe save us some time from arguing back and forth with our significant others. We'll see. But, you know, speaking of time, I know we're all pretty busy, but when I have a little extra time, especially in the grocery store when I don't have my little one with me, pulling on my leg, asking me for more Hot Wheels, I do like to take my time and read ingredient labels at the grocery store. Don't know if you ever do that, but I try to make healthier choices by looking at those. So the other day, I'm in the chip aisle, and I know it's chips, but I'm trying to pick the least worst options on the chip aisle. So I'm looking at this bag, and I'm staring for the longest. I am just frozen, staring at this bag for an uncomfortable amount of time. If people saw me, they were probably thinking that I was really concerned about saturated fats, and I'm really not. So I'm just staring there for like a long amount of time. And then I realized I haven't read one single word on the back of this bag. I have been standing there trying to figure out whether or not I left the garage door open. There we are. My mind's all over the place. This is why I can't eat healthy. All right, so I did manage to get those chips, and I did some smacking and snacking while watching this video.
So today I said an insane thing, and I'm getting flamed by literally every single person I ask, except for people who don't actually want kids already. But I said the other day to my husband, I was like, if I could have the ability to have my cat live forever with me, like live until the exact day I die, but she stays healthy, like how she is right now, she's good, she's whatever, I would give up the ability to have children if I could have that, if I could have her my whole life. That was not the right thing to say. Nobody agrees. Nobody loves their pet enough, apparently. I was like, this is common sense. I get my child forever. I get my Nala girl. No, it wasn't. It caused a big argument for every single person I asked, and my husband.
TikToker Meg Coley says she talked to her husband about this, and he was shocked by her response that she would pick her pet over having the ability to have kids. So she also tried to, ask a few other people, see if anybody would side with her, and apparently not. Everybody's giving her a lot of heat for this. But Meg, I actually see like the train of thought right here, because a lot of people have kids to help them when they get older, like take care of them in their golden years. But really, if you just keep the pet and then you put all the money that you would spend on diapers and daycare and extracurricular activities, if you put all that into a high yield savings account, then you'll be able to afford one of those luxury places to nursing homes and stuff like that. You'll be able to afford that. So there's a little tip for you there. Okay, let's turn to our couples corner. We got Courtney and Josh here because they've got some questions for Dr. V when she comes in. Hey, Courtney and Josh, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey there. How long have you been married?
Well, we're going on 3 years now.
Yes.
3 years. Very nice. All right. So what's your question that you have for Dr. V?
So our question is, how do you maintain expectations of marriage? This is both our second marriages. So we have, previous experiences. So our question is, how do you maintain expectations in like this modern day age?
Okay. So what kind of expectations are we talking about?
Communication, how do you maintain individuality?
how do you build trust and talk about the finances. Finances is usually a heavy topic in relationships. In this new world that we're living in, how do you talk about that?
Yes. Okay. And then the communication. I mean, how are y'all on that? Like, do you set aside time to sit down and talk about things, these pressing issues?
Yes, you have to make time. So we try to schedule time on our calendar to sit down and talk about things like finances. And we're very open and with each other. So when things happen, we try to talk about them in the present and not let them fester on.
That is
Absolutely.
excellent. Yes. All right. Well, it sounds like you're on the right track. We're going to go ahead and talk to Dr. V about your other questions and get back to you. Hope that helps. All right. Guys, we'll be back after this break with Dr. V and other trending arguments for her. Keep it here. All right, welcome back to Chattin' with Chelsea. It is Relationship Wednesday, and we have our relationship and intimacy expert, Dr. Viviana Coles.
Hi.
All right, Dr. Coles, we want to keep these couples coupled.
Yes.
So we got some questions for you.
Awesome. I'm down for whatever you bring to me. I want to, like, whatever it is, I'm sure somebody's going to benefit from hearing about it.
Yes. Okay. So the first to benefit, Courtney and Josh. We just heard from them before the commercial break.
Yes.
They want to know how to communicate expectations of roles in relationships, whether it's traditional or otherwise. How do you get that across?
So here's the thing about traditional roles in general is that there is nothing traditional about being a modern day couple. So talking to each other, asking the questions, just starting with, what should our everyday life look like? What would you like things to look like from the moment we wake up to ideally the moment we go to sleep? Is that together? Is that me giving you a cup of coffee? Is that us chatting? Is it who's shopping? Like, just start with the daily, what you want your lifestyle to look like, and that will open up so many doors to other questions, ideally.
So Courtney and Josh, they've been married about 2 years. So is it a little late to have that conversation? Are we having this conversation with someone who we're dating?
I think you should have the conversation with someone you're dating, but for sure, even if you've been together for 2 years, which, by the way, congratulations, because 2 years is a good milestone.
Yes.
A lot of divorces happen in those first 2 years, so yeah. So way to go. But I also think that life is really about living together and lifing together. So if you have really different ideas of what your everyday life looks like, you need to figure that out now. Not that it's not overcomable, but it's certainly something you should be aware of. The other piece of why it's so important to have this conversation is that it's going to be changing all the time. You know, we're always talking about that offset. We're always talking about, like, you know, life is always different every single day. And for some people, maybe not so much.
Right.
But to be able to say, I'm growing, so our relationship should maybe grow with it, and to feel comfortable knowing that that can happen is really important.
All right, so let's get to the cat lady. All right, let's replay this video.
Okay.
So apparently I said an insane thing, and I'm getting flamed by literally every single person I ask, except for people who don't actually want kids already. But I said the other day to my husband, I was like, if I could have the ability to have my cat live forever with me, like live until the exact day I die, like but she stays healthy, like how she is right now, she's good, she's whatever, I would give up the ability to have children if I could have that, if I could have her my whole life. That was not the right thing to say. Nobody agrees. Nobody loves their pet enough, apparently. I was like, this is common sense. I get my child's forever. I get my Nala girl. No, it wasn't. It caused a big argument for every single person I asked and my husband, so.
Oh, all right. So that was from Meg on TikTok. So, yeah, I can imagine that caused a little trouble with her husband. She did say that they were planning on having kids, and she said this kind of half jokingly. But what's your take on this? Because a lot of people love their pets down and don't necessarily feel like they need children.
So I think for a lot of people, it's shocking to hear that, but the more you think about it, the more you're like, well, if you feel that love and care and emotional support from this animal, that's a really big deal. And I know a lot of people who really don't have that, like, animal-human boundary, That sounds weird. That's for another show.
I know what you mean.
But more importantly, they feel such joy and love and care and nurturing for that animal that it does feel like it's a child. I personally have always kept more of like this is an animal. I can love it. I will care for it. I am its protector.
Right.
But, I'm not feeling like that's my baby. This is my other child. This is my other child.
Right. 4 legs, 2 legs.
Yeah. But I do understand that there's so many people out there who just experience so much joy and love. And like everyday life is built around their fur babies and animals that are predictable. They understand the expenses. They understand like, okay, this works. Whereas kids, we have kids. Like they're unpredictable. They cost a lot of money and they talk back.
Absolutely. So, some challenges there, but maybe she has to communicate that with her husband.
The husband part, that was the part that I was like, ooh, yeah. Because what he might be hearing may not be what she's intending, or it might be. I would say, look, Megan, like you need to tell your husband whether or not you really do want to have children or not, and why. Because if you're going into this and he's like thinking, well, maybe she doesn't even want to have kids, that's a whole other can of worms.
That's a whole thing.
That's a whole thing.
Especially if this changed during their marriage. Like, we were going to have kids, now you're acting like you don't want kids.
There's that doubt that like, do you really want to do this? And I have clients that are actually going through those particular questions. It has nothing to do with their animals, but with this, like, do we have children or not? You said you wanted to, now you're like, I'm good without. You can't just be a little pregnant. Like,
yeah. Oh, no, you're all in.
You either do it or you don't.
Yeah, I'm a single mom. I am not giving up my baby, but I see where she's coming from. Been a fur mom as well. All right, so I got to get to this last question here. Okay. We've been seeing a lot of people couples get upgrades to their seats. Maybe they're in coach. One person gets upgraded to first class. In particular, there was one where a guy went ahead and took that upgrade, left the lady in coach. What is your take on this? Because this had a lot of people upset, Dr. V.
I think that people should take the upgrade. There might be another time where it happens, there might not be. But if you can't both be upgraded, does not mean you give it up. Do not give it up. Just because one person maybe doesn't drink alcohol when they're pregnant doesn't mean that their partner shouldn't either. Or just because they can't sleep once the baby comes, that doesn't mean their partner shouldn't sleep either. Like, 2 miserable people don't make a happy couple.
This is true.
Just don't flaunt it in their face and talk about how amazing it was. Just be like,
the wine was
the whole
divine. Yes. All right, you're changing my mind a little bit here. At first, I was very much, if we can't both go to first class, neither one of us is going to first class.
You would begrudge them first class?
I mean, maybe if it's his birthday or something. I don't know. I don't know about me being left behind. That's really what it comes down to.
Like, well, you can take it.
Okay, we'll see you. I'll see you when we land.
See, I knew it. I knew it.
Thank you so much, Dr. V, for coming and keeping our relationships together. Coming up, we love to grab some food on the go, so we have a couple that runs a food truck business with their blended family of 7 kids. We're going to talk to them about how they manage to keep it spicy. Keep it here. Come back to me. All right, guys. They say to only take relationship advice from people who are actually in relationships. So we've got the owners of Lavish Eats, Joey and RJ Henderson, who have also been married 11 years and run a business together. My goodness. Hands full, I will say.
Very full.
Yes.
Very full.
Yes, and a lot of kids. 7 kids and grandkids. Oh,
we have 4 grandkids and 2 more on the way.
Woo! I don't know how you all do it, but you're doing it well. I will say everything that I've had from you guys has been fantastic. Chef's kiss.
Thank you.
So what is one of your spicier dishes?
One of our spicier dishes will be our linguine, because you can get the chicken on there blackened as well, so you can spice it to your particular taste.
Nice.
You can also get it as a vegan option with no meat or protein as well.
Okay, go ahead and hand me that linguine. Sure. All right, while we talk about your relationship, let me say, how do you keep it spicy? Speaking of...
I just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
find a way. We have to with all those kids and grandkids, and we just have to carve out time for us. And where we find that time, I'm not quite sure, but we manage.
Yeah, that's really what people want to know. How do you make it happen?
Well, you have to be conscious of it. You know, you have to consciously
effort.
say, you know, let's set some time apart and let's have some us time right now.
Yes.
You know, forget about everybody else right now and let's focus on what we need.
He tends to get very hyper-focused on the business, and I have to share that, you know, we need to communicate more and talk more and make sure that we're not, you know, just business-focused all the time. You know, that I'm meeting the things that he needs as well and the time that he needs, and he pretty much does what he can to make sure that I'm happy all the time. Yeah.
That's nice. I mean,
You try to keep her happy. That's what you got to do.
He knows if I'm not happy.
Facts. You all also run a business together, so you do get to spend more time together than traditional or other couples, right?
Well, on the truck, for the most part, she's behind the scenes.
I'm like nights and weekends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm behind the scenes for most everything else. He's the brainchild.
So if you're running the whole food truck, how do you set aside that time to make sure you all are connecting? Ooh, that's a hard question, right?
You just got to let it happen.
Let it happen. I hammer him a lot. Let's go somewhere. Let's go do something. You know?
Okay.
She'll make me come home.
Okay. Oh, she makes you come home.
Pack it up, buddy.
Yeah. Sometimes
I do.
I want to stay later in the food truck, you know, like, because in our parking lot, there's a little club that gets there, and sometimes when that starts, I want to stay later. She'll like, no, we're not staying late.
Pack it up, bring it back.
Let's go do something.
Okay, so with all the kids too, are we?
Well, our kids really help us a lot. Our oldest daughter, Savannah, she's sitting over there. She's pretty much the sous chef and head chef. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We have 27, 23, 20.
21, 20.
Wow.
And 13.
Okay.
14.
Woo, okay. Packed house.
Yeah.
All right.
But Savannah's a huge help to us. She's pretty much a mini him, and they got it going on.
So you're getting family time in too while you're running the business.
Yes.
What's the most popular item that people ask for?
Arancini balls, the Wagyu, beef.
The chicken bites.
Chicken
and
wings.
Chicken wings,
For
of
sure.
course.
Food truck, but elevated.
Elevated,
Got it.
definitely. And we sell out of the halibut, so I wasn't really sure that was going to be a winner.
Yeah. But
He
here
said,
we
I
are.
told you so.
All right, slide this one back so I can keep digging into other things here. Okay, so when it comes to running a business together, a successful business, especially because people love what you guys do, so how do you keep from fighting the whole time?
Who says we do?
I mean, not that I heard anything.
This is actually our second business that we launched together. We also have a hookah lounge as well. We kind of worked out the kinks with that one, I guess, you know.
So I'm feeling like you know your strengths, or you learn your strengths over time.
We're so much alike, yet so different, right? And so he's really taught me things about the cooking industry and how to elevate the plate.
Yeah.
Because if it was up to me, I'd just put it on there, and that's how I grew up, right? It's just, here you go, eat it.
I will say I like what I'm saying when it comes to growing the business, because there's a larger goal as well, maybe doing a brick and mortar eventually.
Yes.
How do you scale up and still be able to keep the relationship together?
We were friends for so long before we were
We kind of know everything there is to know.
Okay.
Appreciate, don't appreciate, you know. Like you said, we play off each other's strengths.
Okay.
And we have a lot of things keeping us busy between the kids and the business and, you know, my other opportunities as well. So we communicate, we have to communicate a lot.
Yeah.
We have a big, huge calendar and a big, huge schedule.
Is there a cue for either one of y'all?
Like I said, I know my place, and I just pick and choose my battles. This is his baby. Yep.
I'm very, I like things done a certain way, and sometimes she'll do it her way, and I'll get frustrated, and then she'll be like, you know what? You have it.
Okay.
My way's good too, though.
Yes. Okay. You got to know each other, right? All right. I love that. Tell people where to find you guys.
At 8318 Southwest Freeway, right on the corner of South Gessner and 59. parking lot right by the Specs.
Okay.
So we're
That's
right
where
there.
the truck is.
Yes.
Yeah, and we do a lot of pop-ups as well.
Yeah, so they can follow you on social?
Right, Lavish Eats HTX.
There we go. Okay, I have more to get into. Obviously, y'all did such an incredible job with this. I will say that pasta and everything else has been delicious. So you guys, thanks for helping us keep it spicy, right?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, all right,
being
we'll
here.
be back. Thank you for joining us for another Chattin' with Chelsea. Here are some takeaways from our Relationship Wednesday. First, you modern day couples, you have to communicate what you want, especially when it comes to roles and responsibilities. And it's never too early to have that conversation, even when you're dating. I mean, maybe not on the very first date. Let's give it a little bit of time. But secondly, Dr. V says, don't get mad if your partner gets upgraded on the airplane. Now, I'm holding a little bit of a grudge about this because if you go to first class, you're going to at least have to send me back some of the good snacks or something if I'm still in coach, okay? Also, from our couple that runs Lavish Eats food truck, they say play to your strengths in the relationship. If one person is great at one thing, let them do that one thing, and the other person can shine in another category. Whether it's running a business or running your household, it can make you a better team. As long as you're not telling one person that they are great at all the things so they can do all the things. All right, let's be fair, okay? Let's keep the conversation going. You can head on over to our social media pages, go to Chelsea Show Fox, and let us know how you keep your relationship going or any challenges that you have. You never know, you might end up on the show. Until then, we'll see you next time on Chattin' with Chelsea.